Wait, you don't have a mating season. Adorable alien's curiosity. The grand exchange hall of the Galactic Concord was never quiet. It hummed softly with translation fields, floating lights, and the gentle sounds of dozens of species breathing in different ways. Some delegates sat on cushions, some stood in pools of warm mist, and others floated in personal gravity bubbles. It was a place built for peace, discussion, and careful words. Today, it was also a place of confusion. The human delegation sat at a long, simple table made of polished stone. There were 5 of them: scientists, diplomats, and cultural specialists. They wore neutral clothing and calm expressions, trained for moments exactly like this. Across from them sat Leary. Leary was small compared to most species in the hall. Her body was covered in soft, pale fur that shifted color slightly with her mood. Her large eyes reflected light like glass, and her long ears twitched when she was curious, which was often. A thin tail rested behind her chair, gently moving as she listened. Leary was a xenobiologist. She studied life, habits, and patterns. She loved questions, and humans, she had decided, were full of questions. The meeting had started normally: trade routes, language sharing, environmental standards. Then came cultural data exchange. A human researcher had just finished explaining Earth's population growth charts. Leary raised one small paw. "Yes," said Ambassador Helen Moore, smiling politely. Leary tilted her head. Her ears twitched once. Then she asked, in a clear and gentle voice. Another blinked. Ambassador Moore frowned, not in offense but in thought. "I'm sorry," Moore said carefully. "Could you repeat that?" Leary did. "Your mating season. Which cycle does your species use for reproduction bonding?" The humans looked at each other. Dr. Raj Patel, a human biologist, leaned toward the ambassador and whispered, "Do they mean?" Moore nodded slightly. Then she turned back to Leary. "We don't have one," Moore said. Leary froze. Her tail stopped moving. Her ears stood straight up. Her fur lightened in color, a sign of deep surprise. "You do?" Leary asked. "No," Moore said kindly. "Humans don't have a mating season." Around the hall, other delegates shifted. A tall insect-like being clicked its mandibles. A glowing aquatic entity rippled with interest. Leary's eyes widened. "But then how do you coordinate?" she asked. "How do you prevent population imbalance, social conflict, emotional overload?" "We don't coordinate biologically," Dr. Patel said gently. "We decide." Leary stared at him. "You decide," she repeated. "Yes," Patel said. "Individually, culturally, socially." Leary leaned back slowly, as if the air had become heavier. On her data pad, lines of biological theory began flashing warning colors. Every intelligent species Leary had studied, every single one, had some form of reproductive cycle. A season, a signal, a time when instincts guided behavior, emotions aligned, and society adjusted together. It was efficient, predictable, safe. And now humans were telling her they lived without it. "So," Leary said slowly, choosing her words with care, "there is no time when your species pauses other activities to focus on bonding." "No," Moore replied. "No hormonal trigger?" Leary asked. "No," Patel said. "No instinctual override?" Leary pressed. "No," Moore repeated. Leary made a soft sound, something between a squeak and a hum. "That is very strange," she said, not unkindly. The human smiled. "We get that a lot," Moore said. Leary looked back down at her data pad. Human charts scrolled past her eyes: birth rates, family structures, emotional development stages. None of it followed expected patterns. Then, Leary hesitated, then continued, "How do humans form bonds?" Moore folded her hands on the table. "We talk," she said. "We spend time together, we choose." "Choose," Leary echoed again. "Yes," Moore said, "sometimes wisely, sometimes poorly." A few delegates made soft amusement sounds. Leary's ears drooped slightly, a sign of deep thought. "In my species," Leary said, "bonding happens only during the bloom cycle. Outside of it, emotional attachment is muted, safe, controlled." And during the bloom, Patel asked. Very intense, Leary said, but short. How long? Moore asked. 2 planetary rotations, Leary replied. Then we returned to balance. Moore nodded slowly. For humans, she said, emotions don't have an off switch. Leary looked up sharply. No off switch, she asked. No, Patel said. We learn control or we don't, it takes time. Around the hall the silence returned, but this time it felt heavier. A reptilian delegate shifted its tail. A crystalline being adjusted its light frequency. Leary hugged her data pad to her chest. That sounds, she searched for the right word, difficult. It can be, Moore admitted. Leary studied the humans more closely now. They were calm, balanced, not overwhelmed, yet they lived with constant emotional possibility. How do your societies remain stable? Leary asked. Without synchronized cycles. Moore smiled, but there was something thoughtful behind it. We build rules, she said, customs, ethics, laws, stories. Stories? Leary asked. Yes, Moore said. They teach us how to feel when biology doesn't tell us what to do. Leary's fur shifted again, this time into a soft, warm shade of fascination. So your children must learn emotional regulation without biological timing, she said. Yes, Patel replied. From a very young age. Leary's tail curled around her chair leg. That means, she whispered. She stopped herself, then straightened. Apologies, Leary said. This is a very big discovery, Moore nodded. We understand. Leary looked around the hall. Has the Conquered considered, she asked slowly, what it means for a species to function continuously? The question echoed in the space. A senior analyst from another world spoke up. Explain. Leary gestured toward the humans. They do not pause, she said. They do not enter biologically enforced rest cycles related to bonding. Their emotional labor is constant. The analyst considered this. That suggests high resilience, it said. Or exhaustion, another delegate added. Moore smiled faintly. Sometimes both. Leary looked back at Moore. Is it not overwhelming? She asked softly. Moore thought for a moment. It can be, she said. But it also means we can love, care, and commit at any time. Leary's ears fluttered. At any time, she repeated. She imagined it. A life without waiting for a season to feel deeply. A species that carried emotional weight every day by choice. Her chest felt warm. The meeting eventually moved on. Trade agreements resumed. Environmental clauses were discussed, but Leary barely heard them. Her mind stayed with one thought. Humans lived without a biological pause. As the session ended, Leary approached the human table. I would like to conduct further study, she said quickly. With your permission, Moore smiled warmly. Of course. Leary hesitated, then added, I hope my question did not offend. Moore shook her head. Not at all. Leary relaxed. As the humans stood to leave, Leary watched them go. They walked calmly, normally, as if they did not carry constant emotional possibility inside them. Leary hugged her data pad tighter. No mating season, she thought. No safety window, just choice. For the first time in her career, Leary felt something new. Not confusion, not fear, wonder. And she knew this was only the beginning. Leary did not sleep that cycle. Her people normally rested easily outside the bloom cycle. Thoughts slowed. Emotions softened. The mind stayed calm. But now Leary's thoughts would not stop moving. She floated in her personal rest chamber, surrounded by soft blue light, staring at the ceiling. Data screens hovered around her, filled with human information. Family trees, social studies, emotional development charts. None of it followed the rules she knew. A species without a mating season, Leary whispered to herself. She had studied over 40 intelligent species. Every one of them relied on biology to guide bonding. Signals, hormones, safe periods where emotions were strong, then faded. Humans had none of that, yet they were still stable. The next cycle, Leary formally requested permission to observe humans more closely. The Conquered approved quickly. Curiosity spread fast through the council. She was assigned a small observation group aboard Harmony Station, where humans lived and worked alongside other species. Leary prepared carefully. She adjusted her translator, cleaned her fur, practiced neutral expressions. She was excited and nervous. When she arrived at Harmony Station, the first thing she noticed was noise. Not loud noise, not chaos. Life noise, footsteps, voices, soft laughter, machines humming. Music drifting faintly from somewhere far away. Humans moved constantly, talking, working, resting, eating. Bonding all at once. Leary stood near the station entrance, her ears twitching. "So many emotions," she whispered. A human woman approached her with a friendly smile. "Dr. Leary," she asked. "I'm Maria Chen, cultural liaison." "Yes," Leary replied quickly. "Thank you for accepting my request." Maria smiled wider. "We're happy to help. Come on, I'll show you around." They walked through long halls filled with humans and other species. Leary noticed something strange immediately. There was no clear emotional rhythm. Some humans looked tired, others excited, some serious, some playful, all mixed together. "Do you ever feel overwhelmed?" Leary asked carefully. Maria thought for a moment. "Sometimes," she said. "That's why we rest or talk to each other." "But rest does not reduce emotional bonding," Leary said. "Correct," Maria nodded. "Correct." Leary's tail flicked. "That means emotional management is learned," Leary said. "Yes," Maria replied. "From childhood." They stopped near a viewing window. On the other side, several humans sat around a table. Some worked on screens. Others drank warm liquids. They were laughing. Leary watched closely. "Are they in a bonding phase?" Leary asked. Maria smiled softly. "No, they're just friends." "Just friends," Leary repeated. Leary began formal observation that same cycle. She interviewed humans from different roles. Engineers, teachers, parents, artists, elders. Each conversation confused her more and impressed her deeply. One human male, an older engineer named Thomas, spoke openly. "My partner passed away years ago," he said calmly. "I still miss her." Leary tilted her head. "Your bonding did not end biologically." "No," Thomas said. "It ended because of loss." "And yet," Leary said slowly, "you continue functioning." Thomas nodded. "Life doesn't stop." That phrase echoed in Leary's mind. Life doesn't stop. Another human, a young parent named Aisha, spoke while holding her child. "I didn't plan to love this much," Aisha said, smiling, "but I choose it every day." "Choose," Leary said softly. "Yes," Aisha replied. "Even when I'm tired." Leary watched how the human child reached for comfort, not because of a season, but because of trust. Trust built without biology. During rest periods, Leary reviewed her notes. Humans regulated emotions using language. Music played softly. Humans smiled. Some sat close. Others kept distance. Leary watched one human gently refuse another's attention, calmly, without offense. "That would cause conflict in my species," Leary whispered. Maria, standing nearby, heard her. "We practice boundaries," she said. "Practice," Leary repeated. Everything about humans was practice. Later, Leary presented early findings to a conquered analyst via HoloLink. "They are constantly managing emotional load," Leary explained. "There is no automatic relief." "And they do not collapse?" the analyst asked. "No," Leary said. "They adapt." The analyst was silent for a moment. "That suggests long-term resilience," it said. "Yes," Leary replied, "but also constant effort." The analyst's light dimmed slightly. "That may explain why humans volunteer for long missions." Leary paused. She had noticed that. Humans accepted long-duration exploration assignments more often than other species. Deep space observation, isolation posts, cultural mediation roles. At first, Leary thought it was ambition. Now she wondered if it was familiarity. Humans were used to carrying emotional weight. They did not rely on seasons to tell them when to feel. One cycle, Leary asked Maria a question she had been holding inside. "Do humans ever wish for a pause?" she asked quietly. Maria leaned back in her chair. "Yes," she said honestly, "many times." "Then why not engineer one?" Leary asked. "Biological adjustment is possible." Maria smiled sadly. "Because our feelings matter," she said. "Even when they're hard." Leary's fur shifted to a warm, thoughtful shade. "That is brave," she said. Maria shrugged. "It's just how we are." During her final observation cycle, Leary witnessed something unexpected. A human crew member received bad news from Earth. Their body language changed. Their face tightened. But instead of withdrawing, other humans gathered around them. Quiet support. No biology demanded it. They chose to stay. Leary felt something tighten in her chest. Choice-based care. Later, alone in her chamber, Leary began writing her official report. She paused often. How could she explain this to the conquered? Most species believed intelligence grew from efficiency. Humans grew from endurance. "They do not pause," Leary dictated softly. "They do not wait for permission to feel. Their strength lies not in instinct but in continued choice." She stopped recording. Her ears drooped slightly. "How do they survive this?" she whispered. Then she remembered Thomas's words. "Life doesn't stop." Leary realized something important. Humans were not fearless, they were practiced. As her observation period ended, Leary stood once more at the station window, watching humans move through their routines. No season, no signal, just life continuing. She felt small and honored. As her shuttle prepared to depart, Maria waved. "Come back any time," Maria said. Leary smiled, ears fluttering. "I will," she replied. As the station drifted away, Leary opened a new private note in her data pad. Hypothesis. But what this meant for everyone else, the Grand Council chamber was full, not crowded but attentive. Representatives from dozens of species filled the circular hall. Some glowed, some clicked, some floated, all listened. At the center stood Leary. She was smaller than most beings in the chamber, but today her voice carried weight. Her fur was neatly brushed. Her ears stood steady, though her heart beat faster than usual. This report mattered. "Begin when ready," said the council moderator. Leary inhaled slowly. "My study concerns humanity," she said. "Specifically, the absence of a mating season and the consequences of that absence." Soft movements rippled through the chamber. She activated her display. Images appeared. Human habitats, families, workspaces, long-term missions. "Most conquered species rely on biological cycles," Leary continued. "These cycles regulate emotion, bonding, and social effort. They provide balance." Several delegates signaled agreement. "Humans do not have this," Leary said. "They experience emotional capacity at all times." A tall avian delegate tilted its head. "That sounds unstable." "It should be," Leary replied honestly. "By our models it should fail," murmurs spread. "But it does not," she said. She changed the display. Charts showed human productivity across long time spans. "They do not slow outside cycles," Leary said. "They do not pause bonding. They do not wait for biology to tell them when to care." A crystalline delegate pulsed brighter. "Then how do they avoid collapse?" Leary's ears dipped slightly. "They build systems," she said. "Culture. Ethics, communication, support structures. Artificial control," another delegate said. "No," Leary corrected gently. "Learned control." The room quieted. "Humans manage emotional load continuously," Leary said. "This makes individual life demanding." She paused. "But it also creates something rare." The moderator leaned forward. "Explain." Leary took a breath. "Most conquered civilizations experience predictable slow periods," she said. "Outside of bonding cycles, motivation decreases, risk tolerance lowers, long-term projects are delayed." Several analysts shifted. "This is not failure," Leary added. "It is biology." She brought up new data. Emergency response timelines, exploration gaps, diplomatic delays. "These slow periods align across species," she said. "Which means the conquered itself has cycles of reduced activity." The chamber was silent now. Leary let the data speak. Then she added softly, "Humans do not share these cycles." A low hum moved through the room. "They operate at full emotional and cognitive capacity at all times," Leary said. "This allows them to fill the gaps no one noticed before." The avian delegate spoke again. "Are you suggesting they are more efficient?" "No," Leary replied. "I am suggesting they are continuous." That word stayed in the air. Continuous. An analyst projected a simulation. "What happens if humans are removed from long-duration tasks?" it asked. The model adjusted. Delays appeared. Breakdowns in communication. Small failures growing larger. "What happens if humans are assigned as stabilizers?" the analyst asked. The model smoothed. Recovery improved. "Humans," Leary said, "are already acting as emotional and operational bridges. They accept roles others avoid, not because they are stronger but because they are used to carrying weight." The moderator folded its appendages. "Used to weight," it repeated. "Yes," Leary said. "Without a pause, weight becomes normal." A delegate from a water world flickered uneasily. "That sounds unhealthy." "It can be," Leary admitted. "Humans struggle, they experience exhaustion, loss, stress." She changed the display again. Images of human art appeared, music, writing, quiet moments. "But they also build release mechanisms," she said. "Not biological ones, shared ones." Another delegate asked, "Why have they not changed themselves?" Leary answered without hesitation. "Because their identity is built on choice," she said. Removing constant emotion would remove meaning. Silence followed. Then a new voice spoke, a senior systems coordinator. "We have noticed humans volunteer disproportionately for intercycle duties," it said. "Observation posts, mediation, early warning systems." Leary nodded. "They do not see these as burdens," she said, "only as responsibilities." "Responsibilities without rest," the coordinator said. "With rest," Leary corrected, "but not emotional shutdown." The difference mattered. The moderator leaned back. "What you are describing," it said slowly, "is a species capable of holding civilization together when biology pulls others away." "Yes," Leary said. The room felt different now. Not fearful, thoughtful. A crystalline delegate asked quietly, "Do the humans know this?" Leary hesitated. "They do not frame it this way," she said. "To them, it is normal." That answer unsettled many. After the session, Leary returned to her chamber. Her body finally felt tired. She sat, ears drooping slightly. Had she exposed humanity to expectation? She activated a private channel. Maria Chen appeared on the screen. "You did well," Maria said. Leary's tail curled. "I am worried," Leary admitted. "The conquered may rely on humans too much." Maria nodded slowly. "That's fair." "Do humans resent such roles?" Leary asked. Maria thought. "Sometimes," she said, "but we also believe someone has to do them." "Why?" Leary asked. Maria smiled gently. "Because if we don't," she said, "things fall apart." Leary felt something warm and heavy in her chest. After the call, Leary reviewed one final data point. Human history, long struggles, long recoveries, always continuing. She understood now. Humans were not special because they lacked a mating season. They were special because they replaced biology with responsibility. The next council notice arrived quickly. The Conquered requested a formal recommendation. Leary read the message twice. Then she began writing. Recommendation. Then added one more line. Humans should not be used without consent. When she submitted the report, Leary felt relief and concern. She had revealed a truth. Now the Conquered would decide what to do with it. As she rested, one thought stayed with her. Humans were not loud heroes. They were quiet constants, and the galaxy had finally noticed. The Conquered did not make its decision quickly. That alone was unusual. Most galactic resolutions followed biological timing. Discussions slowed when species entered low emotion cycles. Votes were delayed. Conclusions waited for the next natural peak. But this time the delay was not biological, it was thoughtful. Leary stood once more in the Grand Council chamber. The room felt quieter than before, not empty, focused. The moderator spoke. "The Concord has reviewed your findings," it said. "We have also consulted the human delegation." Leary's ears lifted slightly. "And," she asked. The moderator adjusted its posture. "We will create a new civil role," it said. "Continuity stewards." Soft reactions spread across the chamber. "These stewards will maintain observation, diplomacy, and coordination during intercycle periods," the moderator continued. "The role will be voluntary." Leary released a breath she did not know she was holding. "And humans?" she asked. "They will be offered the role," the moderator said, "not assigned." Relief warmed Leary's chest. "The Concord recognizes," the moderator added, "that humans should not be treated as tools." Several delegates signaled agreement. "They are partners," it said. The session ended without ceremony. No applause, just quiet acceptance. Later that cycle, Leary met the human delegation in a smaller chamber. Ambassador Moore, Maria Chen, and Dr. Patel were present. Leary bowed slightly. "The Concord has decided," she said. "The role will exist only with consent," Moore smiled gently. "That matters," she said. Patel leaned forward. "So, what exactly are we being asked to do?" Leary activated a simple display. "Be yourselves," she said. The humans laughed softly. "I am serious," Leary added. "The Concord needs what you already do continue." Moore's smile softened. "We'll discuss it," she said, "as a people." That answer satisfied Leary more than a quick yes ever could. Weeks passed, then months. The Concord adjusted slowly. Systems were redesigned, schedules changed. Humans began serving as continuity stewards, not everywhere, not always, only where they chose. Leary observed the changes carefully. During the first major intercycle slowdown, something remarkable happened. Nothing broke. Communication stayed open. Trade flowed smoothly. Minor problems were solved early instead of growing. Human stewards did not rush. They checked systems, sent messages, asked questions. They noticed small things. Leary reviewed the data. Crisis prevention increased. Recovery time decreased. Not because humans worked harder, because they stayed present. One cycle, Leary visited a remote observation station. A human named Elias worked there alone, monitoring long-range signals. "Does the quiet bother you?" Leary asked. Elias smiled. "Sometimes," he said, "but quiet doesn't mean empty." That answer stayed with her. Later, Leary met with Maria again, this time informally. They sat in a shared rest garden surrounded by soft light and slow-moving plants. "Do humans feel pressure?" Leary asked. Maria thought. "Yes," she said, "but we also feel pride." "Why?" Leary asked. Maria looked around. "Because the galaxy trusts us," she said, "and because we didn't have to change who we are to help." Leary's ears fluttered. That night, alone in her chamber, Leary reviewed her earliest notes. No mating season, no biological pause. She smiled. Those words no longer felt alarming. They felt clear. During the next Grand Assembly, the moderator requested Leary to speak again, this time not as a scientist, but as a witness. "What have you learned?" the moderator asked. Leary stepped forward. "I learned that humanity's strength is not endurance alone," she said. "It is meaning." Several delegates leaned closer. "They feel continuously," Leary said, "so they must decide continuously who they are." She paused. "They choose kindness without biological instruction," she said. "They choose responsibility without instinctual pressure." A ripple of understanding passed through the chamber. "They are not perfect," Leary continued. "They tire, they struggle." She looked toward the human section. "But they do not wait for a season to care." Silence followed. Then the moderator spoke softly. "The Concord acknowledges humanity as a stabilizing presence," it said. "Not above us, among us." The words were carefully chosen. After the session, Leary walked with Moore through a quiet corridor. "Thank you," Leary said. Moore shook her head. "You saw us, that's all." Leary hesitated. "May I ask one final question?" she said. "Of course," Moore replied. Leary's voice grew softer. "Is it tiring?" she asked. "To live without a pause." Moore stopped walking. She thought for a long moment. "Yes," she said honestly. "Sometimes very much." Leary's ears drooped in sympathy. "But," Moore continued, "it also means we never miss a moment to be human." Leary felt something tighten in her chest again. Not confusion. Respect. In the cycles that followed, stories spread quietly through the conquered. Humans sitting with grieving species outside their bonding cycles. Humans maintaining stations no one else could staff. Humans teaching children emotional skills without relying on instinct. They did not announce themselves, they just stayed. One young delegate asked Leary during a lecture, "Are humans afraid?" Leary smiled gently. "Yes," she said. "Often." "Then why do they continue?" the delegate asked. Leary answered without hesitation. "Because they believe continuity is worth the effort." At the end of the year cycle, Leary added a final entry to her personal journal. Humans do not have a mating season. They have something harder, they have choice every day. She closed the journal and rested at last. The galaxy continued, and so did humanity, not because biology told them to, but because they chose to.